to the projects. So I have 10 things that I want to start with, and I would like to document them in some way, whether that's writing or video, or what are the other options like skywriting, haiku, dancing squirrels. Because what I realized when I was traveling last year, after I spent a month in Costa Rica and Amsterdam and New York, I realized that what I really wanted out of these trips was some sort of creative project, something that I had made that I could have as a souvenir of this trip that I took, this process, whatever it was. So that is what I'd like to create with these projects as I do them. So the first one is to write love letters and scatter them around San Francisco. I've actually done this before years ago when I was living in San Francisco, and I was either depressed or I needed to feel better and wanted to do it in some way other than, watching a bunch of TV and eating a lot of gummy bears. I would just write little love letters on little pieces of paper, and I'd fold them up, and I'd walk around the city and, poke them into chain link fences, or, leave them on the sidewalk, or put them in the branches of trees, and then, hope that people would find them. So that's the first one. And I also want to make a solo dance party video because one of my favorite things to do at night is to put in my headphones and just dance like a muppet around my apartment. And about a year ago, I actually, was doing this and just was like, what do I look like when I do this? I must look absolutely insane. So I was like, well, let's put this to some scientific research. And I set up my laptop and and just made a video of it, but I haven't ever edited it. I haven't done anything with it. So I want to sort of put that out. It's like, hey, here, this is me being crazy. And, hopefully at some point I could convince some other people to do something similar with me and have sort of like a, solo dance party together. I don't know. That's still in process. And then I want to get yes tattooed on my arm for my father, which scares me because I don't like needles. And I would like to do a road trip through the South. For some reason, this has just been calling to me for years, and I haven't made it happen yet, so this is really top on my list. I would also like to stay in a treehouse. This is a thing. You can do this. I mean, maybe they have them on Airbnb. I don't know. And I'd like to, con some friends into coming and staying with me in the treehouse, and maybe this is where the dancing squirrels come into play. I would like to run my first marathon. I did my first half marathon a few weeks ago, and it was definitely difficult, definitely hard, but because I had prepared so well, it didn't feel as challenging as maybe it could have. I mean, I like preparation, this is my thing, but a marathon, that's a thing. Oh, this is the hardest. This is the one that I absolutely do not want to do. And so it's the one that I really probably have to do the most. I want to crowdfund this sucker. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to at all, because asking people for things is hard for me. Even asking people to do things with me is sometimes hard for me. So I won't invite people out. I'll do anything you invite me to, but I won't invite you. And that's, I think this would be a good way to start moving past this. Ask in a way that feels so out of bounds uncomfortable that, maybe then asking people out to dinner feels easy. This is another scary one. Visit New York this fall. I mean, I love New York. New York really actually hasn't ever been scary for me, except maybe the first time I went, as an 18-year-old moving there for college. But last fall when I was in New York, that was when I ended up on Staten Island for the hurricane, which was the place that was the hardest hit. And this was when my mother fell and hit her head and got a very bad concussion. Also the same time that my dad was in the hospital, and it was when I got off the plane from New York that we got the call, and he was, descending into death at that point. So New York sort of feels like a convergence of kind of terrible things, for me personally and for the world at large. So it feels scary to go back, but I love it. So back on the New York horse. I want to go on a writer's retreat, hopefully somewhere beautiful where I can just sit for a week or two and draft my book. And that's the only thing I have to do. Draft this book on, what is it? The Transformative Power of Grief, Death, and Twitter, because that's what my book is about. And the last one, I want to fly over something stunning in a hot air balloon, hopefully with a giraffe.